Good morning, Pleasant Hill. What a great opportunity we had this past weekend to go out and show that we love our town by praying for them. We gathered on Sunday morning to just pray for families of many different age ranges, all the way from seniors down to young families. Then we went to the fire station and prayed for EMT workers. We prayed for police officers. We prayed for the firemen and women, their families, prayed for families in crisis. Then we ended up at town hall and prayed for our school teachers, our school administrators, the janitors, the librarians, the administrative assistants, everybody that goes into making the schools run, but also the government run, local government, state government, national government. Just prayed for just a whole lot of different people. And prayed for our church family as well. So just a great morning of showing our town that we love them by praying for them. One of the things that I've been thinking about is being the hands and feet of Jesus. And Jesus talked about that in Matthew. That's what we're going through on Sunday mornings, is the Sermon on the Mount that Jesus taught on the side of the hill to his followers, to his disciples. And he talked about how this kingdom that he's referring to is totally upside down compared to what we would experience here. And if you remember last week, we talked about the first part, what we call the Beatitudes. There were 7 of them that Jesus listed. And he talked about them and how it looks different for us to live out God's kingdom here on this earth. And this past Sunday, he went on to teach that if we follow his commands, we'll be considered to be great in the kingdom of heaven. Those that ignore them, that don't follow them, that don't teach them, well, they'll be considered very little in the kingdom of heaven. And I challenged us to write them down and to look at this list and see what is it that we can live out this week. What is one thing that we can live out this week in the kingdom of heaven? I took and wrote down on a sticky note. It's a little bit of a coffee-stained sticky note, but I just wrote down the 7 kind of key words in those teachings that Jesus was teaching his disciples of how it is that we are to live in God's kingdom. This element of being poor in spirit or mourning, showing meekness or being merciful, having a hunger or thirst for righteousness, being pure in heart, be peacemakers. This week I encourage you to write those down. Send yourself an email, send yourself a text, in some way remind yourself of what Jesus taught his disciples 2,000 years ago about what the kingdom of heaven looks like. And just to pick one this week and say, how can I live this one teaching out of Jesus? How can I be obedient to what Jesus is teaching and live that out in a gracious, loving way? I'd love to hear your stories about how that plays out in your life this week. Have a good one.